What's good, YouTube? We back here with another video. So look, I know it's been like 11, 12 days since the last upload. And, it's on me. I mean, duh, it's on me, but like, I've been drained, bro. Like, them 30 days in October took something from me. And then I tried to do it again in November a little bit. Couldn't do it. Not gonna lie. So I had to take a little break from posting videos and making videos and stuff like that. Yeah, that was it, to be honest. I had to catch up on some sleep. That's the only thing that was really fucking me up was sleeping. My sleeping schedule. I just didn't feel. Now I'm back, and we got 6 most disturbing mysteries solved at Google Maps, which is crazy, right? Just say one day you on Google Maps, looking up random things, and on that random thing you looked up, it's a dead body. But yeah, it's a dead body, and you call up the police, be like, "Hey, I found the dead body on Google Maps." Kind of found out it's a real body. Cause I know some people be faking stuff and putting stuff out there just to be on Google Maps. But let's check these out and see what happened with these mysteries being solved.
On July 30th, 2010, 3 men were drinking together in a backyard in Richland County, South Carolina. The names of the men were Leslie Todd Parvin, Edgar Lopez, and Pablo Gutierrez Guzman. At some point in the afternoon, an argument broke out between the 3 men, and Leslie ended up pulling a handgun from his waistband and taking the lives of the 2 other men. It's unclear exactly what sparked the argument between the 3 men, but immediately after the shooting, Parvin fled to Louisiana in his green Kia minivan. Once there, he shaved his head and destroyed both the gun he had used to take the lives of his 2 victims as well as the minivan. For a few days, Parvin managed to elude the authorities, but pretty soon the cops started scanning through license plate records of all green Kia vans registered in Louisiana.
Okay.
According to investigation documents, after the double murder, a witness had reported a partial tag of Parvin's minivan to the police. And a couple days later, on a whim, the cops plugged the suspect's address into Google Maps Street View, and sure enough, found a green minivan parked in front of his house with the license plates and description matching what the witness had told them. With that kind of evidence stacked against him, it was pretty much all over for Parvin. And on August 19th, a relative brought him back to his home in the Windsor Lake area, where he was promptly arrested on 2
where is
charges
this
of murder
located?
and later sentenced to 35
He probably
years
said I was not listening.
During the investigation, it was publicly revealed
Columbia.
that Parvin was a 20-year Army veteran with 5 overseas deployments and a pretty bad case of PTSD, which he had been diagnosed with in 2007. According to his father's testimony, his 20 years of military service and the stress from his tours near Iraq and Afghanistan could have influenced his behavior on the day of the incident. You would think that after 2 decades of selflessly serving his country, Parvin would have been provided the appropriate mental health treatment to help him live his life peacefully. Instead, 2 innocent men are now dead, and the perpetrator himself will be spending most of the rest of his life. Instead, he would have been starved with 5 overseas deployments and a pretty bad case of PTSD, which he had been diagnosed with in 2007.
Okay.
According to his father's testimony, his 20 years of military service and the stress from his tours near Iraq and Afghanistan could have influenced his behavior on the day of the incident. You would think that after 2 decades of selflessly serving his country, Parvin would have been provided the appropriate mental health treatment to help him live his life peacefully. Instead, 2 innocent men are now dead, and the perpetrator himself will be spending most of the rest of his life behind bars. 35 years after his crime, at the age of 75, Parvin will be released from prison into a world he'll probably no longer even recognize.
That's why I can't go to jail, bro. If I do go to jail, it has to be for a great reason. Like getting get back for my family or some shit like that. But like 75, 35-year sentence? Bro, hell no. Then you don't, no. I need to see every day of every year of my life outside of a bar. I mean, outside of jail cell. or a prison cell, whatever you want to fucking call it. This is a no. I just can't do it, bro. I don't know how people. Oh my god, just thinking about it just pisses me off. Like, damn, you wasting your life in this one place for hella years. Mm.
In July 2018, Channel 4
The
released an
hell?
incredibly disturbing video which showed a group of uniformed men leading multiple women and children through
This
a
shit
dirt
blurry?
road and onto a deserted patch of land where the armed men then shamelessly took the lives of the victims at gunpoint. In the video, the men can be
Thank
heard
you.
accusing
If
the
you
women
said
and
bless
children of belonging to the notorious terrorist group Boko
wow, it's
Haram.
tweaking.
The
You
video
ever
caught the
sneeze so hard that you see like little spots and dots and shit? 'Cause that's what I just saw, but I thought it was like a fly or something. I was tweaking.
attention
Back
of
to the
the
video.
entire world, with hundreds of people immediately alleging that the terrifying footage had been captured in Cameroon. However, the
Who the
government of
hell?
Cameroon immediately denied the claims, alleging that the video wasn't even shot in their country and that their army was being wrongly blamed for killing civilians. Still, the BBC wasn't convinced, and their team of researchers decided to find out who had been responsible for the atrocities in the video, where they took place, and when. After receiving an anonymous tip, they used Google Maps to study the layout of a particular region in Cameroon and discovered that the mountain range visible in the background of the video was near a village named Krawa Mafa, very close to the Nigerian border. By analyzing several years of Google satellite imagery of the region, the researchers from the BBC were
Oh,
able to
hell
determine
no.
that the incident had taken place at some point between March 20th and April 5th, 2015. Upon further investigation, it was revealed that the Cameroonian
Damn, all them
government hadn't
cords.
been honest when they denied the claims. For example, the government had claimed that the Cameroonian army didn't use weapons like the ones shown in the video, but the BBC's analysis revealed that the guns were Serbian-made Zastava M21s, which are in fact used in the Cameroonian army. On top of this, several other details that the government had claimed were inaccurate turned out to be a perfect match, including the armed men's uniforms.
Hey, that looks like the nigga from
government's initial
BL1.
denial of the claims, they then updated their statement to clarify that 7 members of the army were now under investigation. And when the BBC shared their full report with the Cameroonian government, the country's Minister of Communication was reported saying, 7 soldiers were arrested, disarmed. They are under investigation right now. I can confirm that all 7 of them are in prison. In their next statement, the Cameroonian government released the names of the 7 detainees, and the BBC confirmed that some of them were the same people who were seen in the video executing the innocent women and children. In 2020, 4 of the soldiers in the video received 10 year prison sentences for the murders, while a fifth 2020, 4 of the soldiers in the video received 10-year prison sentences for the murders, while a 5th soldier was sentenced to 2 years for filming and sharing the footage. The other 2 soldiers
10 years? 2 years? I mean, okay. 2 years for being associated. But 10 years for killing innocent people that didn't do nothing? Niggas just walked to their hood and was like, you know what? You, and all your kids come with me. Like, what? Yeah. Fuck. That's weird.
It's crazy to think that you can get away with such an atrocious crime and only face 10 years in prison. But at least they're being held accountable for what they did, all thanks to a very detailed examination of the video's content against Google's satellite imagery. Between 2010 and 2011, 11 bodies were found near Gilgo Beach on the south shore of Long Island between Nassau and Suffolk counties. Most of the bodies belonged to female escorts whose lives have been taken as early as 1993. But it wasn't until 2023 that they finally managed to arrest Rex Huerman, a 60-year-old architect and father of 2, and connect him to the crimes through DNA evidence, cell phone records, and the links between his Chevy Avalanche and the crimes. After his arrest, Rex was charged with the deaths of 4 women, and later he was charged with the deaths of 2 other women after DNA evidence linked him to the crimes. Disturbingly, the cops found that the suspect had used several burner phones to conduct
Yeah, he did it for sure. Like, if you would never told me that he was the killer, I would have thought he was the killer, bro. Why do you have a flash on? Nigga got the light on and still use the flash. This 2015 ass photo. Shit. Nigga, are you in church? What the fuck?
Conduct
This.
thousands of searches related to the things he later ended up doing to his.
But no, my question before I was why I started laughing at this. I wonder what go through murderers and crazy people minds when doing the act. Well, when planning to do the act. Do they just be like, do some of them be like, you know what? I'm gonna take your life from you with no thought about it. Just you see the person, be like, oh yeah, that's the one. Let's go. Let me plan this out. Whop the bam, get them gone. Or like, do they gotta prep for like oh shit, like football players in the locker room listening to music and shit? Do they got that type of prep? I always wonder that sometimes. Do you put on like what's that one genre of music? Thrasher? Do you play like thrasher music and be like, you know what? Let's go. I'm hyped. Let me go put a nigga. No,
Victims.
never mind.
And to seal Huerman's fate, they also found a huge Word document on his hard drive in his basement, in which Rex had planned out the murders of his victims in very explicit
Well, shit.
detail.
That
Shockingly, the document included checklists that outlined the steps he needed to complete before,
he
during,
definitely just answered
and
my
after
question.
his killings. Based on
He
court
planned this
evidence,
shit out.
Huerman started committing these crimes as early as 1993, and if found guilty, he'll be facing multiple consecutive life sentences in prison. As of 2024, the case is still ongoing, but during the
Why?
investigation, some more disturbing details have surfaced. In 2023, some online users discovered a Google Street View image of Huerman talking to an unidentified woman near his office on East 36th Street more than a year before his arrest. Now, we have no idea who this woman is, and it's very possible that she was a potential victim, but we also can't say that for sure. Chillingly, in the image, Rex also appears to be wearing the same shirt that he wore for a YouTube interview earlier in 2022, where he spoke about his role as an architect at his firm on Fifth Avenue. His defense lawyer, Michael Brown, told the New York Post that the cops have the wrong man.
And how do lawyers just sit there and be like, nah, my client didn't do any of this, knowing damn well he put 6+ people in the ground. I mean, get your check, I guess. Be the best liar you can be, but like, no. That's why I can't be a lawyer. The truth don't slip out. Basically, if the client like do some dumb shit, be like, Your Honor, I don't think I can do this anymore. I think he should go to jail. He did it. He did it. He did it. This might be like somebody mom in the back. What the fuck am I saying? What am I trying to say? I don't know. I lost it mid thought. But yeah, I couldn't be a lawyer, well, a defense lawyer, or whatever he is, attorney. I think that's what he said. But no, I couldn't. Now, if he didn't do it, I'm finna cook, boy. Boy. I will cook in that area if he didn't. I mean, if he didn't do it. Damn, I can't talk. It's been a while, y'all. You know, that's it. Yeah.
In September 2008, a 14-year-old Dutch boy was riding his bike in the town of Groningen, about 110 miles northeast of Amsterdam, when suddenly two young men walked behind him, dragged him off his bike, and robbed him of €165 and his phone. For several months, the cops failed to find the suspects, as no witnesses came forward and they only had the boy's description of the muggers to go on. In March of the following year, the victim went on his computer and started surfing Google Maps Street View, looking at the location where he'd been mugged around 6 months earlier. To his surprise, the Street View car had captured the two men walking up behind him in the moments before the crime. As is usually the case with these images, the faces of the two muggers and the victim were blurred, but the boy immediately called the cops and informed them of the new development in the case. With the Street View pictures in hand, the authorities asked Google to hand over the unblurred version of the images to help identify the suspects. Interestingly, as soon as they got the unblurred images, the investigators recognized one of the muggers from a previous crime, and the other suspect was identified as the first mugger's twin brother. After confirming their identity, the Dutch police were able to track down and arrest the twins, but I wasn't able to find official confirmation that they were charged and sentenced. It's unclear if the boy ever got his phone and money back.
I doubt it, nigga. That was 6 months after the.
30-year-old Kim Wall was an award-winning Swedish journalist who traveled all over the world to cover stories on social justice.
Okay.
Throughout her career, her reporting took her to countries like Uganda,
Why
Cuba,
does look
the
familiar?
Marshall Islands, and Kenya, with her work often being featured in prestigious journals like the New York Times, the South China Morning Post, and the Atlantic. In 2017, while she was in Copenhagen, China Morning Post, and the Atlantic.
The
In
interview.
2017, while she was in
hell no.
Copenhagen with her boyfriend, she met Peter Madsen, a brilliant Danish inventor and self-taught engineer who had built his own submarine, designed his own rockets, and had plans to launch himself into space in the near future. On August 10th of that year, Peter Madsen took Kim Wall on a trip off the Copenhagen coast in his homemade submarine, the NC-3 Nautilus, for a brief interview. Sadly, after that trip, Kim Wall was never seen again. When she didn't come back later that day, her partner reported her missing and an official investigation was officially launched. Just a few days later, on the 21st of August, a passing cyclist found parts of her body washed up on the beach close to where she had gone missing. And about a month and a half later, the rest of her body was found in multiple different weighted down bags by police divers.
He's a sick
During the
nigga.
investigation, Madsen was brought in for questioning, but he denied having anything to do with the state of her body. He instead claimed that Kim Wall had died after being accidentally hit on the head by the hatch of the submarine. Strangely, he later ended up changing his account of the events and claimed that Wall had died after inhaling toxic fumes. Although no trace of toxic fumes was found in her system, the authorities did find 15 stab wounds on Kim's body. After being held in police custody for a while, Madsen eventually confessed that he had murdered Wall and then thrown her separate body parts into the Baltic Sea.
Why?
In April 2018, Peter Madsen was convicted on 3 separate charges and was sentenced to life in prison, where he's been spending his days for the past 6 years.
Nigga, you look
3 sentences
different.
for a
Oh
while.
my
Madsen
goodness.
spent life in prison, where he's been
Yuck.
spending his days for the past 6 years. In 2021, Madsen ended up receiving an additional 21 months in prison for staging a bomb threat in an extremely elaborate escape attempt. Fortunately, he was recaptured soon after and was brought back to his cell.
Oh, nigga, is that a TV? No,
No,
that's just an area. My
fault.
fault.
One of the things that's interesting about this case is that Peter Madsen had been captured by the Google Maps Street View camera climbing into his submarine. Chillingly, when he confessed to the murder, he mentioned that his intention was never to take Kim Wall's life, but rather to sink the Nautilus forever, even if it meant that both he and the innocent journalist would die inside. To this day, it's still unclear how exactly he took Kim's life, but thankfully Madsen will be spending the rest of his
What do you mean?
Still unclear how exactly he took Kim's life.
It's still unclear. Maybe it was the 15 stab wounds that you found on the lady body and the cut up body pieces that it took them months to find. What do you mean it's unidentified? That lady was cut up like some ham on Thanksgiving, nigga. What the
Thankfully,
hell?
Madsen will be spending the rest of his life behind bars with
Good.
no possibility of ever coming back to society again.
Good. So, this nigga was gonna either take himself out, both of them out, or just her with the boat. Or, well, whatever you want to call that, the submarine. So basically, he was like, you know what? It's either gonna be me, us, or you in his boat. Pick your choice. Nigga couldn't go through it. He a bitch, nigga. Fuck him.
Porto Rotondo is a district in
damn, I thought the
Sardinia
video was
known
over.
for its imposing mansions, sandy beaches,
that
and elegant
shit
shops
tough.
and restaurants. In 2002, an Italian businessman sold his villa in Porto Rotondo for 280,000 euros. Due to the comparatively low value of the transaction, the sale immediately raised a red flag for the authorities, and the finance police in Italy ended up using Google Earth as part of their investigation into the property. One important detail about the villa in question is that it allegedly had a swimming pool with a very particular shape, which the cops used to guide their search for the villa
Feel
using
like a
satellite
pair.
imagery. As soon as
Shout out
they
to
found
all
the
the
property, they
pairs.
confirmed that they had a major case of tax evasion on their hands, as the actual
Damn.
value of the villa should have been much, much higher, considering that the value of all the properties nearby was in the high 7 figures. With enough evidence from Google's satellite imagery to confirm that the unidentified businessman had indeed committed tax fraud, the finance police then checked the suspect's bank accounts and discovered 7 million euros in unreported deposits spanning several years. This was a case that I just couldn't find a lot of information on, as the original article in Italian had very few details, and it wasn't even officially confirmed what the legal consequences were for the businessman. Still, it's probably safe to assume that his assets were seized, and due to the crazy amount of unreported cash, it's likely that he spent at least a few years in jail.
W. 15 stab wounds, unclear how she. I guess one of the 15 stab wounds got her. Oh, bro. No, twins got 68 days in prison. The niggas who stole the bike only got 68 days. Okay. They paid 570 euros back to the victim and 300 euros in material damage. Okay. As a war veteran of VA doesn't care. They throw your disability money and say good luck. Therapy, sure you can get therapy, and then they'll lower your rating if you seems to be getting better mentally. That's fucked up. So once you out the damn, I don't say out the league, out the army, it's basically fuck you. Nah, I was just, you were just talking about this. Nigga made a whole list, writing everything down about it. That's the end of the video. I'm back, I might not post every day, but it might be every other day. So stay tuned for them videos. If you want more videos like this, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.
I got a bubble coat to match the kicks. I gave my partners choppers tryna blitz. I got a bougie hoe that got a bitch. I got Call of Duty guns that got a switch. I sip a lot of syrup, I got a pistol. Bro strapped with a rod but don't know how to fish. I'm shining a lot of diamonds on my fist. I just spent a lot of dollars on my fit. Yeah, go get the check for my son and daughter. So every day I'm trying to get paid. We hit the streets and we flood. We just like Baby and Doug, how them young niggas get paid.